make an appointment. I'm accessible through emails, and we can adjust a common time. I'm fine with meeting anytime, literally on the day, during the day. So that's the thing. Class is meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 11:50 p.m. I will talk about more on this timing in few seconds, but the book that we will be following mainly is this, Breuer and Cripps. There are other two books that I would also follow, but I don't expect you guys to buy these two books, by the way. Okay, so this book is just for, I will provide sufficient notes so that you don't have to buy it. Okay, so the only course book that we will focusing on this one, basically. Zoom meeting is fixed. The Zoom number, which is this one, is fixed all the time for all the classes, basically. What happened? Okay. Um, and and the way we will form, so we will talk many things, and I will talk about in few seconds what contents we will cover. But some of the logistic is we will face to face we will meet. Okay, I see some other email or something. Let me see what happened. Okay, I don't know what happened. I hear the noise. Okay, so the Monday and Friday we will meet from 11 to 11:50, but on Wednesday I will not be there during the class timing, but you can study the material. I will post the material, but and you can go over the material on during that time or work with your teammates. So there will be a course project that I will talk about in few minutes. Also, you can work with the teammates on the projects. Wednesday, I will be available from 6 to 7 p.m. It's an optional. You don't have to be there, but it's for resolving your queries for the week. Okay, there is someone also joining it again. Hello.
Hi, Professor.
Hello. So we are just starting. I think there might be a problem with the Reginet. That might be the reason why you guys having an issue. Okay, Erin, I wanted to let you know that I'm having trouble joining the Zoom meeting. Central logging. Okay, well, there are some issues happening with the online system, so I'll just going slowly in the case someone is joining us also. Um, so as I was saying, Monday, and I'm going over the schedule, by the way. As I said, this would be the main book of the textbook of the class, and we will going to uh, 3 days a week we have a class, but face to face we will going to see online on Monday and Friday only, the 2 days. Wednesday will be by your own or within your group, because we will be having a course project, so you can work on a group or you can go over the lecture notes that I will post on the Reginet. um, and then there is Wednesday, instead of the class, I will be available 6 to 7. That is on optional as an open discussion session. And so that is important here. um, Second things to uh, there well roughly speaking, I will be following three textbooks, but I don't expect you to buy the other two. The only book that I am focusing on is this one. The remaining book, the other two books, which is at the end here in the syllabus, um, I will going to provide you with the notes, sufficient notes, so you don't have to really look for the book. other two books. Okay. Um, Roughly speaking, we will have quizzes every 2 weeks, and quiz will be very simple, but it will be based on the 2 weeks previous 2 weeks of lecture and the assignments. um, and and I will going to tell you in advance. Now, whether on Friday or Monday, I will let you know, because I think it will be easier for you to do it on Monday, because you will have a weekend to prepare. So I'm adjustable on that, and we will see how we can do in the future. But roughly speaking, 15 days we will have a quiz. Um, yeah, and okay, what else? Reginet is where we will use a lot of sections like resources, where I will post my slides, um, and also homework problems, if any. Okay, and I will send an email if I do that. Now, also, we will do R programming language. Do you guys know R, by the way? Any one of you? Yes? Okay. What
Yep.
about
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Good. But we will go and we'll learn basics of R, and then we will have many things in R also. Um, okay. And uh, well, other things which are critical here is that quizzes are roughly 50% of the final grade. There will be one test or exam, written exam, or and I will let you know when we will have that. Somewhere between middle and end of the semester. Middle and end of the semester, we will have the test, which is the exam. And then there's 35% what we will have is, um, actually, when I say quizzes, it means quizzes and assignments both. 50% quizzes and assignment, I mean here. I will resend an email with all with specific details on this part in few minutes after the class, actually. This is very important. We formally don't have the final exam, but what I expect to have is a final research project, and that we will do it in a group, maybe two or maybe three. Okay, we'll have to see how many eventually turn up for this course. Okay, so group projects, you will have to discuss the projects with me to finalize what you will eventually do. But the whole idea is there's someone else joining. Erin is joining. Hello, Erin. Can you hear me? Okay. Erin, if you can hear me, we are going over the syllabus. Um,
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. Um, so we are going over the syllabus, and we are talking about grading. It will consist of quizzes and assignments, homework assignment. I mean, quizzes and homework assignment. Many times I will not have a formal quizzes. Rather, we will have a kind of reading assignments or some research assignments, for examples. But that is all together will consist of 50%. One exam during the semester, which will be in the middle and end, between middle and end of the semester, somewhere between that time. There's no final exam, but there will be a final research project, presentations, and written report. Those two things for the final project. I will going to write you email with all these details related to the things that we will expect in the semester. Okay. Um, okay. So that's the idea. I will go in few minutes. What are the chapters I will cover? That's it. Okay. Someone else is joining. Zach is joining. Um, okay. So very quick. Can anyone repeat what I said about the syllabus? Zach, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So, anyone can repeat what I have said about the syllabus quickly, briefly? What is the important aspects that we talked about? So we said this is the textbook, right? This is the main textbook. There are other two books that I will use notes from, but I don't expect the other two books, which is very end of the syllabus, for you to buy. There's no need to buy these two textbooks. This is the place where I will use the homework. This is the place where I would use most of the notes, almost 80 to 90%. Okay. Um, we will stick to this Zoom ID every class timing or every meeting between us, whether it is individual or it is in the group. Um, we are meeting 3 times a week, but Monday and Friday we are meeting face to face. But Wednesday, I would expect you guys to do either go over the close class notes or go over the research projects. Um, there will be a research project in the class, and so that's what you will go over. Um, Other thing which is very critical that I talked about is software. I will use uh, R programming
Sorry,
quite.
Professor, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes, please.
You said face to face. What does that mean?
What I
In this
mean is,
case, yeah.
you can see me through online through Zoom, but Wednesday I
Oh,
will not be available for the class. You have to do things on your own
okay. On Wednesday, right? We
on
don't.
Wednesday, right? Instead, what I have saying here, so go over my syllabus. It will be more clearer. Wednesday, I will be available from 6 to 7 p.m. your time, which would be we are calling as an open discussion session. This is optional. You can come and discuss with me if you have any queries or any questions on it. Okay. So if you are not available, then let me know and I can adjust. And you have a question, I can sit with you on other days or other times. Okay. So that's the whole thing.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Good question, by the way. Okay. And then I talked about that I will have quizzes and assignments around 50%. So half the grade is on quizzes and assignments. So don't forget. And then a lot of stuff, weightage, I'm giving it to one course project, which will be in the group. And this will be practical real life course projects like on COVID, for example, or in some ecology issues, or from some modeling related aspects that we will learn in the class. Okay, so this is what is the rough outline of the syllabus. And any questions on that?
I have a question about the quizzes. What format will those be given in?
Yeah, so that's a good point. Usually, what I will do is there will be few questions that would be given to you in a PDF file, and you would have to type or handwrite and scan it or something like that, and send it to me in the Dropbox of Reginet Dropbox, the PDF version of the file. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I would expect you guys to use softwares to do your writing in the assignments. For example, if you are using Microsoft Word or you are using LaTeX. Uh, how many of you have never seen LaTeX before? Anyone? Okay, that's fine. If you have not, but if you like, you can use Windows. Well, sorry, Words, or you can use LaTeX. One of the two. Okay, to write your assignments.
Uh,
Okay, and I
you
think I
said,
will
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Did you say haven't seen
Yes,
or have seen?
have not worked with LaTeX. Not
No, yeah, I have experiences overleaf, so
okay.
yeah,
Yes,
I have question about topics here.
I'm coming to that. Hold on in one
Okay,
second.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So Yeah, so overleaf, you can use overleaf to submit assignments. What I am interested in a PDF file, basically. Okay, until unless if we are doing an R code, then I expect an .r file, basically also, apart from your write-up of the explanation of the R code. Okay. Um, we would also use R Markdown. Have you guys heard of R Markdown? Let me type it in the chat. R Markdown. Where is my chat?
I have not.
Okay. R Markdown. Okay, I will do some kind of a brief outline on R Markdown. Basically, it's when you submit an R code, you need to write some explanation in a text format. Arc Markdown provides you that feature. It's like a text article with the inbuilt lines of the code of R code, your R code. It helps you, it helps the reader to know what your explanation of each of the lines, for example. Okay. Of course, you can do it in comments in the R code itself, but that is more tedious to do it. Arc Markdown is much more simple and beautiful. Okay. That's the point. Any other question on the syllabus?
Oh,
Okay.
can I ask about topics or you covered that?
I'm coming on to the topics
Okay.
because I am presenting now the slides. In that, we
Mhm.
will cover about the topics. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's share the slides that I have. Mm, Let me see. How is it doing? Display name here. Who's this person? Uh, who is the display name here? Hello? Who's display name here?
It's me.
Oh, hi OJ. How are you? I was worried about Zoom bombing.
Yes, it's actually that's why I'm here. I'm going to start showing your students clips from Family Guy. So don't
Well,
let me interrupt. I'm gonna be quiet. I'll just quietly listen to you.
okay.
My apologies for the late arrival. The Reginet was down.
I know.
So yeah. So
Yeah,
all right.
some of the students were also having some issues, and I'm glad that they were able to join. Okay.
All right. So with me now, the average IQ went down in this Zoom group. But so I'll be quiet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me share now. These things are happening quite a lot, so I was just worried about it. Uh, Okay, so let's go over what we plan to do as a lecture one. Again, I will go over all the stuff in the lecture, and then I will going to post the lecture slide in the resource section. So today we will be talking about some planning. How do we plan ourselves for the semester? But then we will also discuss about what is modeling for us and for each one of us from our prior background. Okay, so syllabus we have already discussed. And if you have any questions on it, please do send me an email, and we can discuss on your queries. So this is the table of contents for that we will cover, roughly speaking. So we will talk about modeling in biological health, life, and social sciences. So we will talk about very different types of applications. Many times and these every application comes with its own challenge of modeling. So we would not only focus on biological aspects, but also other fields. Okay. We will talk about discrete systems. Discrete is the time is um, not continuous, it's discrete. So we'll talk about that. We will talk about continuous time dynamical systems, one dimensional, which we, in mathematical terms, we call it as one dimensional continuous dynamical system. But in ecology and biological sense, it is called mechanisms. And I will describe what the word mechanism means here. We will talk about nonlinear systems in population biologies, higher dimension systems now. Um, and then we will also touch epidemiology, which has been in the latest news on disease outbreaks, for example, in case of COVID. So how is the system of dynamical systems that people study in that? And then we will touch base depending on the how much time we have on oscillations in the systems. Oscillation means regular cycles. For example, we have seasons, climate seasons, and these seasons impact the disease outbreak. And there also we will talk about randomness in the systems or stochastic processes. Don't worry if you don't know these terms at this stage, but we will get to know many of these concepts. I have actually copied these table of contents here in details for each of the sections from this book, Dynamical System. Can you see my cursor, by the way? Yeah. So this dynamical system by Brower and Cripps, which is what our main textbook is. The other two textbooks that I've also put it here, which you don't have to buy, but I will provide sufficient notes for it in case you have it. There it is, but I don't expect you to buy from. Okay, so this is it. Someone has a question on this contents? Yes, no? Okay. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, let's go further and see. Okay, one of the important thing here is also to have a structure of the day. Um, well, if you plan yourself properly, you save a lot of time um, in when you actually put your complete effort into the task that you are doing. So 1 minute of planning will save 10 minutes of your executive. So planning is very important, and I will explain you in few seconds what I mean by planning. You have to schedule for the next day, for example. And the reason I mean, this is not part of the course curriculum, but this is very helpful. Nobody told me these things in any of the courses that I took in my graduate or undergraduate study, but I learned it from my experience. And I wish someone would have given me a prior understanding of these important aspects in the life that I can do successfully things professionally. So for example, I make my schedule for the next day in 30 minutes increments, what I will do at 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m., 9:30. In half an hour increment, I make those things, and that is called as time boxing. You are boxing your time and designing your task for each of the time slots um, uh, that you have to do the next day. Um, After I make this schedule, I make some order of the priorities. So sometimes things pop up unplanned and you have to adjust those things. So your schedule may not go as you have planned. In that case, you have less time available for your work. So then you need an order of priority. What that means is if you have 10 things to do, the two has to be most important and rest could be, if you don't do it, it will be fine. But since you have that time for two tasks, so you will choose those two tasks first and complete it fully. So order of priority is very critical in that. Also, I use heavily on calendar. How many of you guys use calendar, by the way? Calendar is a software on Mac, but I bet there is something similar on Windows operating system. It's a basically you put the alarm for your task, important task in that. Okay, so I fill up the calendar for important tasks, and in spite of doing all these planning, there are interruptions happens all the time, and I have to revise our plan every day, basically. So just a piece of advice for you guys to see it on these aspects. I have couple of videos here for you guys to go over it, and I will play it. Um, Let me see if I can play it. Where is it? Share. Um, okay, you can see my screen. So, okay. Um, in fact, not this one. Let's start with this. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Waking up, rushing to the bathroom, grabbing a snack on my way out, and hurrying to work because I was already late. That was my typical morning for as long as I can remember. But one day, I decided to adopt the millionaire morning routine, and it truly changed my life. Want to know all the details? Then let's go back to the start. You know how they say that the morning is the most important part of the day? Well, my mornings were always hectic. I had trouble organizing myself, so instead of getting the most out of these early hours, I was running to work half asleep. Needless to say, my chaotic morning messed up the rest of my day, and I went home exhausted and angry at myself. One day, my messy morning routine ruined my work presentation, and I decided enough was enough. After all, there has to be a better way to do this, right? After spending some time on the internet, I found exactly what I was looking for.
If you're an accredited investor, I have big news. In the last 12 months, I've bought 5 major
the millionaire morning routine. Apparently, millionaires owe a huge part of their success to their morning routine, and if you follow all of its steps too, you'll be able to start your day feeling relaxed, rested, and inspired. Here's what I had to do every morning during my little experiment. First and foremost, I had to wake up earlier, or there was no way I'd complete the whole routine before going to work. Tim Cook, Richard Branson, and tons of other successful people are early birds, right? So from that moment on, my alarm was set for 5:30 in the morning. Next up was meditation. Doing this practice in the morning allows you to connect with yourself and kickstart your day with positive energy. After that, it's good to do an easy 2 to 3 minute workout. Nothing out of the ordinary, just a couple of crunches or push-ups to get your body going after a night's rest. Then it was time for the typical morning routine we all do. Showering, washing your face, brushing your teeth, and in my case, shaving. When that part was complete, I had to go straight to the kitchen, make myself a tasty cup of coffee, and write down my to-do list for the day, including my personal goals and work tasks. And on that note, it was time to go to work. Now that my morning routine was structured and my journal for notes was bought, it was finally time to start living like a millionaire. To tell you the truth, the first couple of days of my experiment were a total nightmare. I'm a night owl, so it was almost impossible for me to wake up exactly as I'd planned. As a result, the first few mornings of my experiment were pretty much the same. I woke up, ran to the bathroom, and rushed out of the house, grabbing coffee on the way and hoping I'd get to work on time. However, I finally pulled myself together on day 4, figured out my sleeping schedule, and started to wake up exactly as I'd intended to. Practicing meditation also didn't go as smoothly at the beginning. I've never meditated before, so all my attempts to do it right after I woke up made me so relaxed that I went straight back to sleep. After trying numerous apps and techniques, I found that simple breathing works best for me. Sometimes I use this time to visualize my dreams and the person I wanted to be. And it worked. Every day, I reached a new level of inner harmony and understanding of what my perfect life should be. This made it way easier to figure out the steps I need to take to make this vision a reality. Having a quick workout wasn't a problem for me. Moreover, it really helped me get in touch with my body and shake off some of the tiredness before showering. By the way, another thing I've tried is having a cold shower. Even the thought of it seems horrifying, I know. But in reality, it helps to increase your heart rate, which pushes blood through your entire body. This process not only wakes up your body completely, but also clears your mind. I highly recommend it. The next step was my favorite part of my new morning routine. Making to-do lists for the day turned out to be exceptionally fulfilling and motivating. By day 10, I'd begun to make 2 lists a day. One for my personal goals and another for work tasks and responsibilities. Moreover, after surfing the internet a bit more, I included 2 more lists in my morning routine, a to-feel list and a to-be list. This experience made me grow as a person and become a better version of myself every single day. This change alone is worth all the trouble, right? If you think that every weekend I had 2 days off, you're mistaken. I wasn't going to fall back into my old ways. Apart from repeating my brand new exciting routine, I use these days to do some brain training with the help of special apps, catch up on my reading, and brainstorm for new projects and ideas.
Well, actually, this is the what I wanted to.
It's a fact. In the new economy, average people are becoming millionaires faster and easier than ever before. But how do they do it? According to the news, the whole world.
Okay, so I don't want you guys to. I mean, of course, if you become a millionaire, I will be happy because I can say that I know you. But that's not the point. Why I showed you this video is to is for different reasons, and the reason is to structure helps you uh, cope up with the semester, cope up with the all the other stress that you have, and also perform well in the life. And so I will going to these are all links are there in my slides. So if you want to see it, go over it and in details, and maybe write down some notes. So again, as I said before, this is available to you in the resource sections. I will upload my slides on there, so you will have access to the link. You will have access to the. There are 2 videos. I just played one of it. Another aspects that I feel like are important here, and you can see my screen, right, all of you? Yeah. So another aspect, this is published in a Forbes some years ago, and it is talking about how to land up a decent job in today's life. I mean, there are so many people graduating with professional degrees, highly educated. So how you land up to a good job? And this Forbes magazine talks about 4 things, actually 5 things. The numbering is incorrect. To do, learn to do algebra. Algebra doesn't mean that you have to do hi-fi mathematical analysis, then only you will be best. You should be having patience to do a lot of calculations, simple calculations. That patience, that persistence is very critical in mathematics, to do that repetitive jobs, probably in mathematics. Because once you know the method, you want to repeat, you could repeat it. It should not sound like boring to you after a while. And that is what it says, learn to do algebra. Learn some statistics is very critical no matter which field you go. Whether it is you are in biology, chemistry, other areas, so and so forth. Programming, basic programming experience is must nowadays. Even if you have niece and nephews who are very young, they are kids, and they know how to use these smartphones very good. They are learning, the new generation is learning very early on in the life. And so if we want to compete with the young generation, then we have to learn this aspect of programming. It's very critical for our future, by the way. Communications, expressing yourself. If you have any queries in the class, you have to talk to me, try to explain. More you communicate, the better you will be in any types of job, whether it is a mathematicians, whether it is in academia, whether it is in public sector, for example. there is something called as elevator pitch. What that mean is simply is to express yourself clearly in a few minutes possible what you have been doing in the as a research, for example. The term we use it as elevator pitch. That means by the time elevator reached from one floor to another, you could be able to explain your ideas, your thoughts quickly in a very few words possible. And that comes by practice, by everyday's habits or everyday use, or explaining yourself, or asking queries in the class. Not unnecessarily, but you have to do some legwork before you ask something. So that is very, very critical communication. Of course, getting involved in the early research helps you a lot. Early research with a faculty, um, because research teaches you many different things: writing, communications, programming, statistics, mathematics, many, many different things. So early on research helps you a lot. So this just wanted to give you some brief outline. There's also a nature YouTube video that I would like you guys to go over it in your own time. I have added it. It is talking about, um, can we use mathematical models to explain the pattern, all the patterns of nature, and where are the limitation and what can we do in with current mathematical tools. Also, there's lots of softwares we are using nowadays, lots of it. So we have to know what are available and what are good for us and what are more popular for us to, uh, why are software used? Why are software used? Anyone has any idea why are softwares used, programming languages used? Feel free to jump in into.
To do things really fast that would take a human years.
So to ease our work, ease our work. So it doesn't have to be the only programming. It could be, for example, Google Forms. If you are doing the surveys, right? Have you heard of Google Forms? Google Sheets, right? Forms are used for carrying out surveys, social surveys, medical surveys. Those are being carried out by forms. Google Sheet are like Excel, basically. Okay. There is also shared software like GitHub. Have you heard of GitHub? We will talk about basic GitHub, basically. um, Google Drive are there, Dropbox is there. But then there are also some programming languages that are critical and are I will use in this course. But there are others that are, and you have to understand the difference in the different type of softwares. I mean, R is not same as SPSS or SAS. There's a different purpose for SPSS and SAS, which are called statistical softwares. So statistical software, SPSS and SAS and Minitab, these are different types of software. There are Python. Of course, you can do some similarities are there between the two, but the core of it is very different. The purpose of it is different. There's geographical information system, GIS software, which we use it in the modeling quite. These are all modeling it is used for. Mathematical software has a different purpose, right? It is not same as programming languages, for example. The purpose is very different. So mathematical software, you already know, probably MATLAB, Mathematica, Maple, Berkeley, Madonna. These are important softwares that are properly, these are, I'm not listing every software in that area. I'm listing most important ones or most popular one, not important one, but most popular ones in those categories. Okay, so nowadays it's more of a shared. We are talking about iCloud. So how can we share easily with other people remotely sitting thousands of miles away from you? And there is no, I mean, online, as we are seeing in COVID times, have much challenging to understand things remote, not in face to face in the classroom, rather on Zoom or other activities. So these softwares are very helpful, by the way. We use Mendeley, we use BibTeX. These are used for citation. References are very critical when we write a scientific documents. So Mendeley are used for creating a scientific documents, reference for scientific documents, for example, bibliography, we call it, right? There's Mercurial is also for file sharing between this is similar to GitHub is more on a programming based purpose. It is originated from for programming purpose. Mercurial is for even for the files, normal files, that how do you share with other people. Of course you can do it with GitHub, but it is more easier. Every software has its own strength and weaknesses, and this is very critical in that. There are some free and there is some proprietary. Free softwares are now becoming much more popular. For example, when I was in my graduate school, um, uh, emails were not free, right? Now it is, you get email kind of free in many websites. So the free softwares are now becoming more popular, where people can put their ideas, give their ideas more. So those are more preferred in that way. Um, the time is almost up, but just to tell you that um, the mathematical methods, give me 2 more minutes and I will wrap up. So it has evolved over a period of time. Some has more historical perspective than others. But now there is an origination of something called as complex systems, which is right here in the it's starting 2000 with the invent of computation, high performance computing and all those things. So here we are now talking about modeling through complex systems, but the basic idea behind is a stochastic process, differential equations, dynamical systems, operation research, game theory. These are hardcore behind the scenes, and we will cover a couple of topics from above. I mean, actually 3 topics from this sequence, but we will also talk about some complex system issues. So complex systems in the last few decades, it has originated from, and nowadays we call it something called as multi-agent system, and how different types of modelings are interweaved together to what we call today as a multi-agent models. Um, and again, these slides will be there on your this thing resources section on Reginet. So that, but the whole idea here is to find out the turning point in the system when this system tips off. How do you explain that thing? When can this happen? Can we predict when will be the next COVID type of an outbreak in the future? That's the whole idea why we are building the model. Whether it is COVID, whether it is climate, whether it is real systems, social systems, everywhere we are trying to find tipping point. When, how is the bifurcation happening? In mathematical terms, we call it a bifurcation. Tipping point is same as bifurcation. And that is what the goal of our analysis will be in this course, to find out the bifurcation. Again, the word model is different for different people. Well, this is a model for people in engineering. It's a model train. Biologists use mouse as a model. Social scientists use a flowchart as a model, and mathematicians use equations as a model. Okay, so it's the same word, but a different disciplines are using in a different way. So the terminology is very critical when we talk about models in this class. Anyway, I will stop here. And next time we will continue with the different types of models. There is something which we call as a descriptive or phenomenological models, and there's other which we call as mechanistic. One is statistical, where you need the data to begin with. Mechanistic models, you have a mechanisms in the mind, and that's, you don't need really a data to understand that phenomena in the real life. So I'll stop here. And I will share the slides on the resource section. If you have any questions, we can discuss also in the next class. But if you have a last minute burning question, we can address it right now.
We'll meet again Friday.
Yes, we will meet again on Friday. I will post. So the Wednesday, the goal is to go over the slides, go over the videos that I have in it, and see if you have any questions for me.